Tonight's meditation is going to be overcoming our shortcomings. A challenge that I have had throughout my life has been overcoming insecurity. And that comes from early teenage years for sure. It wasn't until I had, began to self-realize that I was able to see how much ego played a role in how I showed up to the world. My career was a big part of my identity for many years, from the age of 20 to well into my 30s. And a lot of it, would show up as anger, just a defense mechanism to kind of, protect the wounds that I didn't realize that I had. The catalyst to self-realization usually comes from some kind of deep discomfort or trauma. Mine at the time was I was married for 15 years and I had had a divorce. So that was the catalyst to be like, boom, okay, I need to do some healing here. A lot of stuff was popping up. Anxiety was crazy. And I knew I needed to deal with it in a healthy way. So that's what led me to find, oddly enough, Kundalini yoga, because it's not a very common practice. But it helped. It was like a fast track to, self-realization and healing those wounds internally. A lot of breath work, a lot of meditation. When you're sitting with yourself in stillness and you have all that, there's nowhere to go. It's like you just start purging those emotions. And then breath work, it forces you to, boom, there it is. You just start crying out of nowhere, releasing all this pent up emotions. And then you start to gain clarity. You're like, wow, I've been living in my ego this whole time. This job isn't who I really am. And then it's like, wow, you were holding on to this identity for so long. And then to realize that that's not who you are, it's like, wow, who am I really? What's really going on here? And that is it's a scary place at first, but then it becomes such a liberating, truly you're liberated. You're like, wow, I don't have to keep this up. This is not who I am. It's with those facades, which you don't even realize you're doing. There's a lot, you have to be a certain way. People expect you to be a certain way, whether that's family, whether that's friends, whether that's coworkers. It's like, when you're doing this work and you realize that's not who you are, you can just drop that. And that is an incredible place to be, incredibly powerful place to be. Because then you can connect with who you truly are. And, then the universe starts to deliver people and events that support your true purpose and true identity. And that is why these practices for me were so powerful, and why I want to share this information is because of the liberation and the just letting go of all the things that aren't really for you. And I don't mean to sound all... So what I hope you gathered from that is true power lies in vulnerability and self-acceptance. Not holding on to an identity, that others expect you to show up as. It's letting go of that, letting go of the ego, and not to suppress emotions, to let them come up, work through them, and connect with who you truly are. That's that's how you're going to find your true path, what your true purpose is, how you can give back in the best way and live the most fulfilling life. And through these practices is how I was able to get in there, sit in that stillness, in that uncomfortable, like there's nowhere to go, and just doing the work. There's still work to do. There's always still work to do. But this illuminated my path and created awareness in so many ways that I hope it does the same for you, because it's an extremely powerful place to be. Just letting go of what is not for you, and connecting with who you truly are. So, all right, let's get to the exercise.